Hello, everyone. Again, I hope each and every one of us is doing okay today. We're doing okay today. We are going to continue our math journey. We're continuing our math journey, and I know things are becoming easier. I hope the scary part of math is is leaving each and every one of us because that's the reason why we meet. That's the reason why we meet, so that we can be able to demystify any form of complexity involved in mathematics. Today, we are going to continue and see how percentages and decimals relate. What's the relationship between percentages and decimals? So we will look at how we can convert a percentage into decimal and how we can also convert decimals into percentages. So let's take this example. Let's say we have a decimal, or let's say, let me start with percentages. Let's say we have 34%. There's a percentage, and we want to see how we can convert into what? Into decimal, right? How are we going to be able to achieve that? So, first of all, we know that we can write 34% as a what? A fraction. How do we do that? It is 34 divided by 100. Remember that. How to convert a percentage into fraction is by dividing by 100. But how to convert a fraction into percentage is by multiplying by 100%. So here we started off by a percentage. So to convert a percentage, which is 34%, to a fraction, is divided by 100. So we have 34% to be equal to 34 divided by 100. What do we do next? What do we do next? Next, we will do this. We can do it in two ways. This could be method two. Method two, I've not done method one, but this could be method two. And in method two, the divisor, remember what we did? It was a divisor. The denominator, the number in the denominator, which is a divisor, comes out, and then the dividend goes into the long division. It goes into the long division. Now, remember that we said that can 100 go into 34? Can 100 go into 34? Can this go into 34? And the answer is no. 100 cannot go into, so we put 0 on top of that. And remember, we said that the moment we put 0 on top, that 0 need to multiply this. So 0 times 100 gives us what? 0. And then the deduction, we get back 34. Because 0 from 34, when you take 0 from 34, it is 34. The next question that we need to ask ourselves again is that can 100 again go into this 34? And the answer is still no. So what do? We put a decimal point next to the 0 on top there. Why? Because we've already introduced 0. We've already introduced 0. So the next thing to introduce a decimal point indicating that 100 cannot go into 34. And the moment you put a decimal point on top, you need to add 0 here. We need to add 0 to the 34. So we have this. So then the question is, can 100 again go into what? Into 340? And the answer is yes. It will go into that 3 times. Because if it's 4, it's 400, which is more than 340. But if you go into it 3 times, remember, we always multiply it by that. And we get what? 300. Now, when we take the subtraction, when we subtract 300 from 340, we get what? We get 40. Now, the question again here is, can 100 go again into 40? The answer is no. We cannot add 0 here because we've already done that, right? We have already done that. So the next thing to do is to what? Is to add what? 0 here. And then when we do that, we can confidently ask again, can 100 go into 400? And the answer is yes. It is 4 times. And then the 4 will multiply this 100 again, and then we get what? 400. So then you take 400 from 400, you get what? 0. Therefore, 34 over 100, or, sorry, let's put it this way. We can say that therefore 34%, which is 34 over 100, which is fraction, will give us 0.34. So we can see here that this was the what? This was the percentage. And over here, we converted into fraction by dividing by 100. And then there again, we are able to get our what? Decimal. Right there. Right there. Now, can we look at method one quickly? Okay. Method one, we said that 34% is the same as 34 divided by 100, right? But because we already have 34 over 100, we already have that. And the denominator has two zeros. It has zeros. Remember, every number, I'm writing something here, every number, like 3, has its decimal point at the back of it. So just keep that in mind. So same way, the 34 has a decimal point at the back here. But because we have two zeros in the denominator, we can move it 2 times. We are moving it 2 times because of the 100 there. So that the point becomes, 0.34. If we have, for example, if we have, let's say 342%, all right, or sorry, if we have, let's say, sorry about that, sorry about the confusion. If we have, let's say, 352 divided by 1,000, it means we're going to move the point that is here 3 times. Why? Because of these 3 zeros. We get 1, 2, 3. So you're going to have 0.352. So keep in mind, method 1 works when the number in the denominator has only zeros. It has only zeros. So it has only zeros and a 1. So let's say 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000. Then that will work. You just have to move the decimal point on the numerator the number of times or the number of zeros that are in the denominator. Right? So I hope method 1 will work, or you'll be able to identify when to use method 1. But method 2 is always safe because you don't have to go in kind of like in circles. You don't have to go in kind of like in circles. All right. I wanted us to look at what about if we have a decimal? We have a decimal, let's say 0.43. How do we convert 0.43, the decimal? How do we convert that into percentages? How do we do that? Right? Now remember, the 0.43 means that we have to move what? This decimal. We need to move it to the right. To the right. So we're going to have 1, 2. And then when we do that, we're able to get what? 43 divided by 100. We moved it what? 2 times. That's why we have the 100 down there. And then we will multiply. We'll multiply this 43 divided by 100. We multiply by 100%. Why? Because we want to convert into percentage. We successfully converted the decimal into a fraction, and then now we are going to a percentage. So now we are going to have 43 divided by 100 multiplied by the 100%, and we know that this 100 will cancel this 100, and we are left with a percentage sign. So we're going to have something like it's equal to 43 and a percentage sign. 43 and a percentage sign. So I hope this helped. It helped in our journey. We've been able to discover how to convert a percentage into a decimal. We said we can do it in 2 ways, method 1 and method 2, depending on what is in the denominator. And finally, we've also been able to convert a decimal into a percentage. A decimal into a percentage. All right. All right. So I'll come to you again. Take care. Bye.